So we just had a tremendous time with the Rehoboth community talking about masculinity and recovering the masculine heart. But I want to quickly emphasize something, that it is not only boys that need the validation of their fathers. Girls also need it. Girl, feminine heart is different from the masculine heart, and the way we validate them is different. But let me quickly say this. Research has shown that 90% of girls between the age of 18 and 24 who are promiscuous did not have a loving father. When a girl does not have a loving father, it also affects the issue of identity. But the real identity here, the identity issue for girls is, am I beautiful? Will you fight for me? Do you see me? Will you celebrate me? Do you delight in me? Those are the questions the girl is asking. And it is the father that needs to answer those questions and say, you are beautiful. I delight in you. And I will do anything for you. And that gives the girl child a settled heart. And she does not have to take a question to boys out there looking for love and looking for validation. It's important we say this, that we don't go with the idea that only boys need validation from their fathers. Girls also need it too. They just need it in a different way. God bless you.
Thank you so much. We just had a time in the lobby and there was a bit of reactions, and we just felt to come on air and document this so that it's there for posterity. Okay, we'll take a few of the reactions from our ministers.
I'd like to say thank you so much, Pastor Stephen, for mentioning that and stating that girls also do need validation. Studies have shown that ladies between the ages of 18 to 25 actually exhibit prostitution more because they have not been validated by their fathers. So I'm glad to hear this from you, that ladies or girls also need validation from their fathers. Then another thing I'd like to state is that having listened to your message today, I am encouraged the more as a single parent that raising boys, I can't raise boys alone. So yes, personally, I find time to allow them go spend time with their father, have father to son relationship. And rather listening to your message today has also encouraged me the more, you understand, to enhance that relationship or encourage them the more to have a father-son relationship where also they can also be validated by their father. I've also discovered that certain things I'm able to teach them, or rather certain things their father is able to teach them, I can take them through it. And you rightly mentioned that a mother's love is only for self-worth and self-esteem. But the father's love is the one that actually gives validation and identity. And I want to say thank you so much for the encouragement and the message you have shared today. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor Stephen. I connected to the message in a very personal way. It's true that Jesus needed the validation of his father. It must have made a very great difference in his life. I recall that in 2015, for one of the very few times I got validated by my dad, he gave me a check, and then behind it, he wrote an instruction to the bank saying that Morris is my son. I trust him. So for the first time, I felt validated. I felt like, oh, my dad trusted me. And this was 2015, not very long ago. So it made a big difference. I had to photocopy and frame the check. Each time I look at it in my dad's handwriting, I know that, yes, my dad believed in me. He trusted me. It still makes a big difference even today. Thank you very much, Pastor Stephen. Blessings.
All right. Thank you so much, Pastor Stephen, popularly known as Stephen with a PH. For those of us who have been to some of his seminars, we know him very well. Thank you so much for coming. What struck me, well, not really struck me, but what impressed upon me was the questions that he asked, which are also like questions that used to pass through my mind when I was growing up. Still on the issue, the question of validation, the question of, am I a man? Am I fit for my purpose? Believe it or not, there was a time in my life I was asking myself if I could be a father. Could I really be a father? And what does it take? My dad and I, we had a not very close relationship. He validated me on certain issues, but there were certain issues that he did not teach me anything about. Like Pastor Steve said, did your dad teach you things about money? Did your dad teach you things about your destiny? How to pursue your destiny? Did your dad teach you things about women? My dad didn't teach me any of these things, not because he didn't know it. I got to find out later. It's not because he didn't have ideas of all these things, but because he was never taught these things. So what he didn't know, he couldn't teach. And I've taken that as growing my own children, my son especially. I'm having to teach him things about money. Just like yesterday, I had to buy a program that to teach. It's called Kidpreneurs, about children and entrepreneurship. You know, I'm trying to expose my children to things that I wasn't exposed to at their age. So it's a learning curve for me that if my dad didn't know it, he couldn't teach me. Now that I know certain things, I have to teach my son. I have to teach my children. So validation is key. Knowing who our children, knowing who they are in the society, knowing who they are in the family, what their purpose is. These are things that we definitely need to harper on more and teach our children. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone that has contributed. Thank you so much. We are just quickly reacting, and this will be done in a couple of minutes from now. But for those of you that are just joining us, backstage, he emphasized that girls also need to be validated by their parents. And he says research has shown that where girls are not validated, they begin to look for things to prove that they also belong and they count, and then they therefore go into prostitution and things that they shouldn't be getting themselves involved with. Also, we have materials that offer you from the speaker. It's called Restoring the Masculine Heart. Beg your pardon, it's called Recovering Your Masculine Heart. It's a 6-hour product. There's a teaching. What we had today is a condensed version of what he has here. And what he has here is a further condensed version of his live clinics that he runs. It's a whole day clinic that he runs. But you can take advantage of this now in the virtual world that we are running at the moment. Recovering Your Masculine Heart, 6 hours of teaching. And it's available for 5,000 Naira. 5,000 Naira is all digital. The process to acquire this is to pay into his account, Olumide Stephen Omojuibe, Zenith Bank, 1-000-517-284. I'll take that again. The money is to be paid into his account to buy the product, and the account number is 1-000-517-284. So that's 1-000-517-284. 517284. Make sure you get the name before you make the transfer. Olumide Stephen Omojuigbe, Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank. If you are making the purchase, make sure that you get the account details correctly. Once you have paid, send your name and proof of payment, if you can, to info@stephenwithaph.live.com. I'll take that again. Send a message to info@stephenwithaph.live.com. So that is info@Stephen, STEPHEN with WITHAPH live.com. info@stephenwithaph.live.com. Send an email that you have paid, and the link to download will be sent to you. Thank you one more time for allowing us to share this time and space with you. Join us for a Bible study on Wednesday, and let's drill down further on this. We need healing, and we need to offer healing. Jesus is our healing and our help. Shalom and God bless. Bye.